This one's for couples, 14 questions. Who apologizes the first after a fight? Who's the funny one? Who's more romantic? Who's more patient? Who's the better cook? Who said, "I love you" first?
This is Andrea Levette Lloyd, a 30-year-old mother of two with another on the way, who would be tragically hunted down by her own husband, leading to her untimely death. In the early hours of December 7th, 2021, a peaceful neighborhood in Miami was jolted by a crime that would change everything for one family. The Miami-Dade Police Department responded to a missing persons case involving Andrea, who had been 4 months pregnant at the time, after she disappeared from her night home care job. As the search for her stretched on throughout the night, no one could have predicted the chilling truth that would eventually emerge. What began as a routine shift at her job would soon spiral into a nightmare no one saw coming. Surveillance footage revealed the horrifying moment when Andrea's own husband arrived at her workplace. As Andrea opened the door, he lunged at her, violently assaulting her before dragging her outside and forcing her into a waiting vehicle. It wasn't until December 8, 2021, that the case took a tragic and devastating turn. Her lifeless body was discovered inside a metal toolbox in a black pickup truck found in a remote area near Homestead. But nothing could prepare investigators for the chaotic web of lies, deception, and violence they were about to uncover. The twists that followed would shake them to their very core. To understand how this heartbreaking tragedy happened to Andrea Lloyd, we need to understand how Andrea and Xavier's relationship began, because like many relationships that turned deadly, it didn't start with violence. Andrea Levette Lloyd, affectionately known as Dree, was born on December 13, 1993 in Miami, Florida. From a young age, she displayed a natural kindness and compassion that endeared her to everyone she encountered. These qualities made her a beloved figure among her family, friends, and coworkers, which was evident in the number of people who would show up at her funeral. But Andrea wasn't just known for her caring nature. She was also incredibly hardworking and passionate about her career. Before pursuing her calling in caregiving, Andrea briefly worked in retail, but it was her role as a caregiver that would define her life. She dedicated herself to helping others, which ultimately led her to become the residential program director at Sunrise Community. Later, she would continue her journey of compassion at the South Miami-Dade Group Home, where she worked with individuals with mental illnesses, developmental disabilities, and special needs. Her career was a true reflection of her giving heart, as she made a lasting impact on the lives of those she cared for. But Andrea's life wasn't just about work, it was about family. She had 2 children, and she was eagerly anticipating the arrival of her third. Her love for her kids was at the core of everything she did. She made it a point to ensure their happiness and well-being, making decisions that prioritized their future above all else. Her social media often showed the world her devotion to her family, capturing sweet moments with her kids, and her life seems to be a picture of happiness. However, behind the smiles, Andrea's relationship with her longtime boyfriend, Xavier, was far from perfect. Andrea and Xavier had been together for nearly 11 years. They met as teenagers, and their bond was initially strong. Together, they built a family, raising their 2 sons with love and care. Andrea and Xavier shared many memories, including family vacations, holidays, and romantic getaways, but like many relationships, theirs wasn't without its struggles.
Who takes longer to get ready in the morning? Who's the grumpier one in the morning? Who's more stubborn? Who's the bigger baby when sick? Who's the social butterfly? Who's the messy one? Who works out more? Who requires more attention?
As the years passed, things started to change. Small arguments escalated into bigger fights, and the apologies seemed less genuine each time. Xavier, once charming and affectionate, began to show a more controlling side, especially when it came to Andrea's independence and decisions. Despite the ups and downs, Andrea stuck by Xavier, largely for the sake of their children. But this love and commitment began to take a toll on her mental and emotional well-being. Xavier's increasing possessiveness and infidelity started to cause cracks in their relationship.
She was tired of him messing around on her, and she was like a wife, not a girlfriend.
Andrea's family noticed the changes too, and they began to grow concerned. At some point, Andrea confided in her father that she wanted to leave Xavier. She was done with his behavior, especially the constant cheating. But she felt trapped in a relationship where, despite everything, she was still deeply committed. The final straw came when she made the decision to leave Xavier once and for all. But this decision would set the stage for the devastating events that would follow. On the night of December 6, 2021, Andrea shared a post on social media reflecting on the toxic relationship she had endured with Xavier. She described how narcissistic manipulators attack and hurt you only to turn things around and blame you when you react. It was clear that Andrea was done with Xavier, but little did she know that her decision to leave would lead to a horrific series of events. Just after midnight on December 7, 2021, Andrea was working the night shift at the South Miami-Dade group home. She was tending to her patients, as always, with the same warmth and care that had earned her respect and admiration. But this would be the last normal moment in her life. A knock on the door interrupted her routine. As Andrea opened the door, a figure lunged at her, beating her brutally before dragging her outside. The attacker, who would later be revealed as her longtime boyfriend, Xavier Johnson, forced Andrea into a waiting vehicle. The sounds of the struggle echoed into the night, but after that moment, Andrea disappeared from everyone's lives. Hours passed before Andrea's coworker arrived at the group home for her shift, only to find the patients unattended and Andrea nowhere to be found. The coworker immediately reported Andrea's disappearance, setting off a chain of events that would lead to a terrifying discovery.
Now to a developing story out of Southwest Miami-Dade, where police say a woman is still missing after being abducted from her job this morning. 27-year-old Andrea Lloyd works as a caretaker at a home.
That's where she was when we're told she opened the door to a man who beat her and dragged her into his car against her will. Here's CBS 4's Joel Waldman with more details.
In news, unfortunately, we covered too many of these stories, but I can't remember a time in recent memory when so many family members showed up in such a short amount of time, desperate for Andrea to come back home safely.
It's hard. It's hard because, she's the type of person, she always calls her dad because we got so much love in the family.
Comforted by all that love, Patriarch Arnold Lloyd, a modest family man, told us he only wants one thing this holiday season.
Everybody know me. I don't beg for nothing. When I'm begging for my daughter to come home, I don't beg for nothing. I don't beg for nothing. But I'm begging for my daughter to come home.
The baby of his 12 children, Andrea Lloyd, never returned home from her job as a caretaker at this South Miami-Dade group home, where the 27-year-old worked as a supervisor.
For her not to have contacted any of us, something is wrong.
Miami-Dade police confirming something did in fact go drastically wrong overnight. They say surveillance video revealed a disturbing scene after a man showed up at Andrea's job just after midnight.
This male proceeded to batter her and eventually, during the altercation, pushed her inside of a vehicle and drove off in an unknown direction.
Police say she was dragged and forced into a white Honda Civic with Florida tag Y650DL. Andrea's family tells us they have a hunch who her attacker is, but were asked by police to keep it to themselves for now.
Andrea is not the type person that will leave with a stranger. And the information and the evidence that the detectives shared with us indicates that she was very familiar with the person that abducted her.
The mother of 2 young boys herself, Andrea's family says she would never leave them alone.
She works, she takes care of her kids. She works, she takes care of her kids. That's her life.
She's an angel. She's an angel. I mean, she's a real angel.
Anyone with any information is asked to call Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers at 305-471-TIPS. There is a reward for anyone with information that leads to an arrest. Reporting in Florida City, Joel Waldman, CBS 4 News.
Detectives began searching for clues, and surveillance footage revealed a white Honda Civic arriving at the group home around 1:30 a.m. This vehicle was later confirmed to be connected to Xavier Johnson, sparking the beginning of a full-fledged investigation. As the police began digging into Andrea's abduction, they uncovered a shocking clue that pointed to a sinister truth. The person responsible for Andrea's disappearance was someone she knew too well, Xavier Johnson, her longtime boyfriend. The search for Andrea continued throughout the night, with authorities piecing together fragments of information, but it wasn't until December 8, 2021 that the case took a tragic and devastating turn. Her lifeless body was discovered inside a metal toolbox in a black pickup truck found in a remote area near Homestead. But nothing could prepare investigators for the chaotic web of lies, deception, and violence they were about to uncover. The twists that followed would shake them to their very core. Once Andrea's remains were discovered, the police quickly turned their focus towards Xavier Johnson. Surveillance footage obtained by detectives showed a white Honda Civic arriving at the group home around the time Andrea disappeared. The vehicle's license plate number helped authorities trace the car to Xavier, which immediately raised suspicions about his involvement in Andrea's abduction and murder. At this point, police were not sure what had led to such a horrific crime, but as detectives pieced together the events leading up to Andrea's death, they started to uncover some unsettling truths. Despite their years together and the shared responsibilities of raising 2 children, the relationship had become increasingly toxic and abusive. The violent behavior that Xavier had exhibited over the years, including his past abusive actions towards Andrea, was becoming more evident. Andrea had been planning to leave Xavier, and in his rage, he decided to take her life. The confession came shortly after his arrest. In a chilling and emotionless statement, Xavier admitted to kidnapping and murdering Andrea, but the motive behind the crime was still unclear at the time.
Nervous and a whole lot of things, because you got a young man that's out in the bushes and not knowing what to expect.
Tonight at 11, the family of a missing mother abducted from Southwest Miami-Dade yesterday leads police to the place where human remains are found. Investigators have not confirmed that those remains belong to 27-year-old Andrea Lloyd.
But we do know that her family saw her boyfriend in that area before police took him into custody. CBS 4's Jessica Vallejo spoke to the family tonight and joins us live from Southwest Miami-Dade with more. Jessica?
That's right, Lauren and Elliot. When I did speak to Andrea Lloyd's uncle, and he says that him and other family members actually followed the boyfriend into this wooded area, and that's when police responded. But tonight, what we do know is that Miami-Dade police have found human remains. They have not been identified, but a source did tell us that they belong to a female. Investigators searched through this Homestead wooded area into the night looking for any signs of Andrea Lloyd. While Miami-Dade police confirmed they found human remains that have not been identified, a source tells CBS 4 News they are remains of a female that were found next to this black pickup truck, the same truck that was last seen driven by the woman's boyfriend.
All I can say is God's will.
Her uncle, Manuel Lloyd, said his niece followed Andrea Lloyd's boyfriend since she had gone missing on Tuesday. When she spotted him on Wednesday, Manuel and other family members approached him together as he was pacing next to this truck that was stuck off the side of the road.
Yeah, he seemed nervous and a whole lot of things, because you got a young man that's out in the bushes and not knowing what to expect. But at that moment, he was just walking around. My nephew done called him and caught him. And when he called him, he said, "Where are you going?" And he took his phone from him. He said, "Who are you calling?" He said, that's my phone, give it to me.
That's when police responded to the scene.
The family member called us. We responded immediately. We observed the boyfriend, and we have detained him. One of our canines alerted to an area, a heavily wooded area.
Miami-Dade police say Lloyd was working at this group home near Homestead when someone showed up around 12:30 Tuesday morning, beat her, dragged her to her car, and drove off. A source told CBS 4 News she knew the attacker and was comfortable opening the door at the group home for him.
She opened the door for him, and they yanked out, throwed her down, grabbed her, threw her in her own car, and drove away.
Andrea Lloyd is a month pregnant and expecting her third child.
She got two babies, one and 5, you know, and they need their mom. They need the mom. That's my heart. She's my everything.
And tonight, Andrea Lloyd's boyfriend remains detained and he is being questioned. I'm live in Homestead, Jessica Vallejo, CBS 4 News.
The discovery of Andrea's remains was only the beginning of the investigation. While Xavier's confession had secured his arrest, it did little to explain why he would commit such a brutal act. But as investigation continued, one crucial detail came to light. Andrea's family had long suspected that the reason for Xavier's deadly actions was rooted in a growing sense of jealousy and control. According to Andrea's father, she had been planning to leave Xavier for months. The relationship had become unbearable due to his infidelity and controlling behavior. Andrea's decision to leave him, coupled with the fact that she was carrying another man's child, seemed to have pushed Xavier over the edge. Her father stated that the third child Andrea was pregnant with was not Xavier's, and that this revelation could have been the final straw that led to her murder. This new information shed light on the chilling motive behind the crime: Xavier's desire to control Andrea's life and the resentment he felt when he realized she was ready to move on. His confession, combined with the suspicions of Andrea's family, painted a clear picture of a man driven by possessiveness, rage, and jealousy, willing to go to any lengths to prevent Andrea from escaping his grip. On December 9, 2021, Xavier Johnson was officially charged with 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of kidnapping, and 1 count of armed burglary with assault and battery. The charges were a direct result of his brutal actions, which had left Andrea and her unborn child dead, as well as her family and loved ones forever broken.
But, you know, I prefer to have my daughter any day.
Tonight, we're hearing from the father of 27-year-old Andrea Lloyd. Investigators confirming the human remains found yesterday did, in fact, belong to her. Lloyd's boyfriend is in police custody right now in connection with the murder, and today he faced a judge for the first time. CBS source Peter Dench joins us live from the Metro Justice Building in Miami with the very latest. Peter.
Well, Elliot, the judge in this case noted that Andrea Lloyd's boyfriend confessed, and she said this is a death penalty case. Now, her father told me he is heartbroken. He said that she and her boyfriend had been together for the past 11 years, and they had 2 sons together. But he also said that she planned to leave him, and that may have led to what happened here.
Sir, you were arrested for 1 count of first-degree murder, 1 count of kidnapping.
Circuit Judge Mindy Glazer finds probable cause for the charges against 32-year-old Xavier Johnson in the murder of his girlfriend, 27-year-old Andrea Lloyd.
He made a statement confessing to kidnapping and killing the victim. And this is a serious case. This may be a death penalty case.
We spoke with Lloyd's father about the arrest of Johnson.
Yeah, I feel good, but, you know, they still won't bring back my daughter. Still want to bring back my daughter. So, but right now, I got to go.
She meant so much to you.
Hey, she was my everything. She's my everything. She's my everything.
She's always checking on you, making
every
sure
day,
you're okay.
Every day. And her baby stuck in my arms all night last night.
You're glad at least they moved quickly and they made an arrest. How do you feel about them making an arrest?
I feel good having an arrest. But if it weren't for my family, you know, it wouldn't have got that far.
Lloyd is referring to a family member calling 911, saying Johnson was seen Wednesday in a wooded area near Homestead Miami Speedway. A police source told CBS 4 that Andrea's remains were found next to Johnson's black pickup truck in a large metal box. Police say Johnson attacked and abducted her early Tuesday from the group home where she worked. The mother of 2 boys was expecting their 3rd child. And she was with this guy, her boyfriend, for what, 11 years?
11 years, yeah.
11 years?
Yeah, 11 years.
And did you ever think anything like this?
If I knew anything wrong, she wouldn't have been there. Because I could have put her in the house myself.
Any idea why this might have happened?
Because she was going to leave him.
She was going to leave him?
Because she was tired of him messing around on her, and she was like a wife, not a girlfriend.
How are you getting along right now? How are you dealing with this?
It's rough, but I got to take, cause, I mean, if it weren't for all my other kids, it'd probably be a lot worse. But I got so many kids, and they all, is my backbone.
Xavier Johnson is also charged with aggravated battery and burglary with assault. He's being held right now without bond. Even though he was given an assistant public defender, he told the court that he planned to hire his own attorney. We are live at the Metro Justice Building. Peter Dench, CBS 4 News.
As the case moved forward, Xavier's legal team began to prepare his defense. Despite his confession, there was no shortage of legal battles to come. Xavier's bond hearing on December 10, 2021, revealed the severity of the case and the chilling details of his actions. The judge overseeing the hearing expressed shock and disbelief at Xavier's cold confession, stating that this was a death penalty case. During the hearing, Xavier's lack of remorse was evident, further adding to the horror of the crime. His cold and detached demeanor only fueled the anger and heartbreak of Andrea's family, who had already lost so much. For them, Xavier's actions could never be justified, and they were determined to see justice served for their beloved Andrea. During the initial stages of the trial, Andrea's family continued to demand answers. What motivated Xavier to take such extreme actions? Why did he feel the need to take her life when Andrea had simply wanted to move on from a toxic relationship? These were questions that remained at the forefront of their minds as they prepared for the legal proceedings. The prosecution moved forward with a strong case. As of the time of this upload, Xavier Johnson's case has not been finalized, and the court has yet to deliver a final decision. However, as the proceedings against him unfolded, more disturbing details emerged about Andrea Lloyd's tragic death. One particularly significant revelation came nearly a year later, shedding light on a financial aspect of the case that had not previously been disclosed. On September 2, 2022, court documents surfaced involving Johnson and Primerica Life Insurance Company. Within those filings, a crucial detail previously withheld by law enforcement was revealed. Andrea Lloyd had died from multiple stab wounds, confirming the brutality of the attack. The documents also addressed whether Xavier, who was both the primary beneficiary of Andrea's life insurance policy and the accused in her murder, could legally claim the payout. Under Florida's Slayer statute, individuals who unlawfully kill the insured are barred from receiving benefits. As a result, the court awarded Arnold Lloyd, Andrea's father, the $157,420 policy proceeds. This ruling not only reinforced Xavier's culpability in the eyes of the law, but also provided a small measure of justice for Andrea's grieving family. Still, financial compensation could never replace her life, nor heal the deep wounds left behind. The struggle for accountability extended beyond the courtroom. On December 10, 2021, just days after Andrea's murder, Arnold Lloyd appeared before a judge to secure custody of Andrea's 2 children, who had suddenly been left without their mother. While Xavier's arrest brought some relief, nothing could compare to the irreplaceable loss of Andrea herself. Her family and friends honored her memory on December 13, 2021, the day that would have marked her 28th birthday. They gathered near Southwest 328th Street, close to where her body had been discovered. In a poignant tribute, they released pink balloons into the sky, symbolizing their love for Andrea, a devoted mother whose life was stolen in an act of selfishness and rage.
The family of Andrea Lloyd celebrating her life. Today would have been her 28th birthday. Police say she was killed by her boyfriend, Xavier Johnson. He's facing a slew of charges, including first-degree murder. CBS 4's Joel Waldman is live from Homestead. And Joel, you are learning more from the family about her funeral.
That's right, Carly. Today is her 28th birthday, but tragically, Andrea Lloyd's family is instead preparing for her funeral, which will be held this Saturday. Details on that to follow. Meanwhile, we're at the site here in Homestead where her body was discovered, a swampy and desolate area. Now, less than 1 week after her brutal murder, Andrea Lloyd's family and friends are back where her body was discovered. Today, a heavenly birthday celebration. The mother of two, who was pregnant with her third child, would have turned, as I said, 28 years old today. Instead, her family is now planning her funeral. Family, including her uncle and godbrother, tell us she would still want everyone close to her celebrating her birthday with joy in their hearts.
And Andrea wants us to smile right now. She don't even want to see no tears, because all she would come around is smiling. She would make us laugh, and that's what she wants to see with us, make us laugh right now. She wants to see us laughing. She don't want to see us heartbroken.
The 28th birthday, she's not here, and Christmas is coming, she still won't be here. New Year's is behind that, and she still won't be here. So how could I come out of that? It won't.
Now, this is the man accused of her murder, Andrea Lloyd's boyfriend of 11 years and the father of her children, Xavier Johnson. Police say he showed up at the group home where Andrea worked last week and beat her up and dragged her into his car, eventually killing her. Again, as we mentioned, the same day that her family, her extended family and friends are all celebrating her 28th birthday, they're also planning for her funeral this Saturday, with more details to come. Reporting live from Homestead, Joel Waldman.
This case continues to stand as a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of intimate partner violence, the vulnerability of pregnant women in abusive relationships, and the long road to justice for families left behind. Andrea Lloyd's life was cut short by a man who was supposed to love and protect her, but in the end, it was her strength, her resilience, and her unwavering commitment to her children that defined who she truly was. Her family, her friends, and the people's lives she touched as a caregiver will forever remember her as a compassionate and loving person. Though Andrea's life was tragically taken, her legacy will live on through the love of her children, her family's perseverance, and the lessons we can learn from her story. Her death, while senseless, serves as a stark reminder of the importance of leaving toxic relationships, seeking help, and breaking free from cycles of abuse. As Andrea's family gathered to remember her, they celebrated her life, her kindness, and her unwavering dedication to those she loved. Her story will continue to inspire others to value themselves, prioritize their well-being, and never settle for anything less than the respect and love they deserve. Andrea's case is a painful reminder of how abuse can escalate into devastating violence, and it serves as a call to action for those who find themselves trapped in similar situations. Domestic violence is often shrouded in silence, and the survivors who leave these relationships are often faced with threats and retaliation from those who seek to control them. Their fight for Andrea's memory and for the well-being of her children will continue as they seek for justice. And in the end, perhaps the most powerful message from Andrea's life is the reminder that no one deserves to live in fear, especially not the people we love most. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below.
Who apologizes the first after a fight? Who said, "I love you" first?
And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.